can't stay on the paper.
Okay. Welcome to the Tuesday, October 8th, 2013 Village of Peoria Heights Board of Trustees meeting. Meeting is now called to order. Would you please rise and join us in the pledge of the flag? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, would you please call roll?
Trustee Harn.
Present.
Trustee Carter.
Present.
Trustee Fuller.
Present.
Trustee Reichert.
Present.
Trustee Gett.
Present.
Trustee Cumming.
Present.
Thank you very much. First order of business tonight is the approval of the Board of Trustees minutes for the September 17th meeting. Are there any changes that need to be made to the minutes as presented? Need a motion for approval?
So moved.
Motion from Trustee Gett,
Second.
second from Trustee Cumming. All those in favor of approving the Board of Trustees minutes for the September 17th meeting as submitted by our village clerk, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say no. Thank you. The ayes have it. The board has approved the minutes for the September 17th meeting as presented. Next order of business tonight is correspondence, and that will be presented by our village clerk, Shauna Musselman.
I have no correspondence this evening.
Okay, thank you. No announcements, though I do want to remind everybody the homecoming parade is coming on Saturday, 10 a.m. As usual, down there between the subway and Silver Dollar. So if you can make it to that, please do so. And I believe the homecoming football game starts at 1:30, I think.
Yeah.
1 or 1:30. So again, hopefully the rain will keep away. I've been getting a.
Who are we playing this year?
Geez, do you remember? Have you heard?
Something with the train. Who's the train? Who's the train?
South
Something with the
Fulton,
train.
isn't it?
I don't have no idea.
I hope. I hope it's somebody we can
That's
beat.
the
That's all I'm saying.
South Fulton, I think.
Okay. Well, hopefully it's an easier opponent than Elmwood or something.
Maybe we can get the Illini on the schedule for next year.
That would be nice. Okay, we'll move to trustee reports then, and first up will be the ambulance service with Trustee Fuller.
Thank you, Mayor Allen. I have the September monthly review. So for the month of September, we had, looks like total 70 calls, 60 of which were medical calls, 10 were fire calls. And of those 60 medical calls, we had 47 total transports. So it's pretty much the update for the month of September.
Okay. Any questions at all for Trustee Fuller? Okay, thank you again. We'll move to Public Works with Trustee Harn.
Thank you, Mayor Allen. The only thing we have is some hydrant flushing, and I'll let Superintendent Roth talk about that. He's got the dates in his head. So.
Okay. Starting Wednesday morning, we'll be doing below the hill, everything below the hill. Thursday, we'll start from Toledo to Hines. And then south of Hines will be Friday to Wilson. And that will continue or conclude our hydrant flushing for this year. And it's been going real well, and the mains are cleaning up real quick, and everything's working good.
That's all we have.
Okay, well, thank you. Any questions at all for Trustee Harn? Okay, thanks again. We'll move to administration personnel with Trustee Reichert.
Thank you, Mayor. I have nothing this evening.
Okay, thank you very much. Move to economic development, village improvements with Trustee Carter.
Thank you. You've already mentioned the parade for October, but November, I do believe we'll probably have another parade, which that's on down the list. But in December, or the end of November, there's a small business Saturday, just to mark your calendars. And December 7th, we have our annual Christmas walk with the tree lighting. And December 14th, we have Chocolate in the Heights. So just some updates coming up. That's all I have.
Thank you. Any questions at all for Trustee Carter? Thanks again. We'll move to the police department with Trustee Cumming.
Thank you, Mayor Allen. Just like to announce that the next Neighborhood Watch meeting will be Monday evening, the 28th, right up here at Village Hall at 6:30. So I'd like to invite all residents to come out and share any police or code enforcement issues that you might have in your neighborhood. Please come up and let us know about them, and we will look into them and get those rectified for you. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions at all for Trustee Cumming? Okay, thanks again. We'll move to building maintenance with Trustee Gett.
Thank you, Mayor Allen. I have nothing to report.
Then we will move to the fire department with Trustee Gett.
Second verse.
Same as the first. Okay, well, thank you, everyone.
Never gets old.
Comments from the audience? Chief, anything?
We're missing the note.
Jen? Yeah. No? Okay. Well, we thank everyone for attending. Move now, no old business tonight, so we're going to move to new business. And first up has to do with village board approval to hire an additional police officer, and that will be presented by Trustee Cumming.
Thank you, Mayor Allen. A recent information that we came across, actually a census that showed police department size by population, by municipality, showed that the village was one officer shy of being where other municipalities of our size are in the United States. Taking that and running with it, Chief crunched some numbers and determined that if we could add another officer to the force, that it would give us additional coverage on the streets and at the same time reduce the amount of overtime that we are paying to our other officers on the force. So cost-wise, this ends up pretty much being a wash for us, but it provides us with additional coverage, and it also reduces the amount of time that the other officers are on the road, because as some of you might know, some of you might not know, you know, with a force our size, we sometimes have trouble covering vacations, comp time, and National Guard time that our officers are required to attend. So this not only gives us better coverage, but it also improves the quality of life for the officers that are on the force already. And with this in mind, I'd like to go ahead and move that we give Chief Sutton the approval to hire an additional officer.
Second.
Motion from Trustee Cumming and a second from Trustee Gett. Any questions or comments from the board before the board votes? Chief, you had a couple comments for this?
Yeah, I just also wanted to point out that we've been able, in the past, we've been able to operate under this number of officers for years. And the reason why we've been under a strain lately is the amount of specialized units we've had to assign officers to, and that's been the big burden over the last year. We've continued to cover, then the additional with the code enforcement zones. We're starting to spread some of the guys very thin on being on the streets. And I'm under the impression that visibility, saturation is a good deterrent. That's why I brought the information forward to the board. We've been doing this for the last year, but looking at the numbers, it is, especially the overtime, it definitely will be a benefit to have an additional officer on the street. And I think, you know, I'm not going to get into the, as far as the specialized units like we did in executive session, but I think everybody remembers that meeting. So it was my recommendation we do add personnel. So I do appreciate your support.
And we are looking at a reduction then in overtime costs?
Correct. Correct. If you look at I'm not sure if you have your packets with you or not, but the document that I handed out in executive session, you're looking at just in overtime costs alone, the officer will save just under $30,000 a year to have that flexibility.
And like you said, the wear and tear on our personnel, because they're in a stressful situation and they don't need to be stressed out any more than they have to be. So that's why I seconded it.
Okay, thank you, Chief. Any other questions or comments from the board? Okay, once again, this is for board approval for Chief Sutton to...
I just want to make one more comment, Mayor. And here's the other reason I brought this forward to the board. It wasn't so much just the officer. If you remember right, two different options. If we do not increase personnel, we have to withdraw from specialized units. Really wanted to give the board an option. So I think the best route is the approval of the officer, but I just wanted to make that clear.
Okay, thanks again. Okay, once again, this is for the board approval for Chief Sutton to hire an additional police officer as outlined by the chief and Trustee Cumming. Madam Clerk, would you please call roll?
Trustee Harn.
Aye.
Trustee Carter.
Aye.
Trustee Fuller.
Aye.
Trustee Reichert.
Aye.
Trustee Gett.
Aye.
Trustee Cumming.
Aye.
Okay, thank you by a vote of 6-0. The board has given the approval for Chief Sutton to hire an additional police officer as outlined by the chief and Trustee Cumming. Next order of new business tonight is having to do with a contract regarding website design and development, and that will be presented by Trustee Reichert.
Thank you, Mayor. This is a proposal from a company called ADCO that will develop a new website for us and also do monthly maintenance to make sure that we are always up and running with all the new versions of Internet Explorer. And the price will be $5,750 for the website, and then $75 a month maintenance for, I don't know the term, but we're going to determine that term before we sign, right?
Correct, yes.
And then we're supposed to pay 50% before the website is developed, and then remaining 50% when the website is launched. So I would make a motion that we approve this proposal from ADCO for $5,750.
We have a motion from Trustee Reichert,
Second.
second from Trustee Cumming. Any questions or comments from the board before the board votes?
Does anybody know what metrics is in regards to the hosting and maintenance, monthly maintenance of the website? Just curious.
Yeah, I was going to ask too about that. Is that 75, it says minimum? Is that, did it say, I don't have it in front of me, I was reading it earlier.
Is the fee $75 a month minimum?
Yeah. Okay. Is minimum, so it says minimum hosting, I don't know what that means.
It says Tier 1 website and email hosting, $50 a month, technical maintenance, $25 a month. So those two combined is the $75 a month figure.
But is
And
that like
then-
a locked-in?
As Trustee Reichert indicated, before we sign it, we're going to try to get that locked into a 3-year term.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that wasn't included.
I would assume that they would make sure that this website is compatible with like Safari and the other
Yeah.
websites.
And so will Sarah be able to have like a lot of input in sort of the design, or? is it-
Yeah, and that's kind of why we did receive other proposals. I didn't include all of them in your
Yeah.
packet. And we had meeting with them, she felt most comfortable working with this individual.
Yeah.
They seemed the most receptive to working with her, not just, kind of producing the website and handing it over, giving her the opportunity to provide input and that type of thing.
That'll be exciting. I'm looking forward to the
It'll
new
be
site as
interesting.
much as everybody.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments from the board? Okay, once again, this is for board approval of the proposal from ADCO for the new website in the amount of $5,750, and then the hosting and metrics of $75 a month. Term of agreement yet to be decided. Madam Clerk, would you please call roll?
Trustee Harn.
Aye.
Trustee Carter.
Aye.
Trustee Fuller.
Aye.
Trustee Reichert.
Aye.
Trustee Gett.
Aye.
Trustee Cumming.
Aye.
Okay, thank you by a vote of 6-0. The board has approved the proposal from ADCO for the new website. Next order of new business tonight has to do with a payment to Illinois Civil Contractors, and that will be presented by Trustee Harn.
Thank you, Mayor Allen. The bulk of the project has been paid for, and the $66.99.40 is the retainage. That's always held to make sure that you get all the little details done, and everything has been completed, and it all looks real good. So I make a motion that we pay ICCI $66.99.40.
Okay, have a motion from Trustee Harn,
Second.
second from Trustee Gett. Any questions or comments from the board before the board votes? Okay, once again, this is for board approval to make payment to Illinois Civil Contractors for the Park Place and Montclair Avenue improvements in the amount of $6,699.40, as outlined by Trustee Harn. Madam Clerk, would you please call roll?
Trustee Harn.
Aye.
Trustee Carter.
Aye.
Trustee Fuller.
Aye.
Trustee Reichert.
Aye.
Trustee Gett.
Aye.
Trustee Cumming.
Aye.
Thank you. By a vote of 6-0, the board has approved the payment to be made to Illinois Civil Contractors as outlined by Trustee Harn. Next order of new business tonight has to do with ordinance 2013-1393. That will be presented by Trustee Reichert.
Thank you, Mayor. Ordinance 2013-1393 proposes to increase fines associated with violations of the zoning code from a minimum of $5 per day to $50 per day, and to increase the maximum fine from $50 per day to $750 per day. The fines are proposed to be increased so that they will serve as more of a deterrent to violators. And this ordinance was already reviewed and recommended by the Zoning Board of Appeals. So I would make a motion that we approve ordinance 2013-1393.
Have a motion from Trustee Reichert,
Second.
second from Trustee Carter. Any questions or comments from the board before the board votes? Okay, once again, it's for board approval of ordinance 2013-1393, as outlined by Trustee Reichert. Madam Clerk, would you please call roll?
Trustee Harn.
Aye.
Trustee Carter.
Aye.
Trustee Fuller.
Aye.
Trustee Reichert.
Aye.
Trustee Gett.
Aye.
Trustee Cumming.
Aye.
Thank you. By a vote of 6-0, the board has approved ordinance 2013-1393. Next order of new business tonight has to do with the approval of the Veterans Day Parade, and that will be presented by Trustee Carter.
Thank you. General Wayne Downey American Legion Post 1111 Peoria Heights is having their annual Veterans Day Parade and ceremony on Saturday, November 9th. The parade will begin around 10 a.m. They would like, and it'll be starting at Marietta Prospect, ending at the Tower Park. They would like to use the Tower Park for the ceremony. And in the years past, we'd like to ask for the use of the park until about noon that day. Also, any barricades needed to block traffic or police escort in the parade would be greatly appreciated. So I'm assuming that they'll get with you, Chief, on whatever they need. So I make a motion that they can have the parade for one and use the tower after the parade.
Okay, we have a motion from Trustee Carter, second from Trustee Fuller. Any questions or comments from the board before the board votes? Okay, once again, it's for board approval of the use of Tower Park and also along Prospect Road for the Veterans Day Parade and Ceremony on Saturday, November 9th, as outlined by Trustee Carter. Madam Clerk, would you please call roll?
Trustee Harn.
Aye.
Trustee Carter.
Aye.
Trustee Fuller.
Aye.
Trustee Reichert. Trustee Gett.
Aye.
Trustee Cumming.
Aye.
Thank you. By a vote of 6-0, the board has approved the use of Tower Park and Prospect Road for the Veterans Day Parade and Ceremony on Saturday, November 9th, beginning at 10 a.m. Next comes the payment of the bills, and those will be presented by our village clerk, Shauna Musselman.
Hold on. This represents the bills approved at the September 24th, 2013 Departmental Committee. The general fund expenditures, $378,325.39. MFT is $134,361.01, for total expenditures in the village accounts of $512,686.40. The waterworks expenditures were $70,442.50.
Any questions or comments regarding the bills as read? Need a motion to pay the bills? We have a motion from Trustee Gett,
Second.
second from Trustee Cumming. Madam Clerk, would you please call roll?
Trustee Harn.
Aye.
Trustee Carter.
Aye.
Trustee Fuller.
Aye.
Trustee Reichert.
Aye.
Trustee Gett.
Aye.
Trustee Cumming.
Aye.
Thank you. By a vote of 6-0, the board has approved the payment of the bills as read. Next Board of Trustees meeting will be held at a special time, 6:00 p.m. on October 22nd, Tuesday, October 22nd. And the departmental committee meeting will be held immediately following at 6:30 p.m. on Tuesday, October 22nd as well. Is there any other business to come before the board this evening?
I have one quick question. Does anyone know, do we still use the Seagraves the old fire engine in the homecoming parade?
Yes, we do.
Okay, I haven't seen it around in a while. Maybe I just haven't been around in a while, I don't know. Or do they?
Yeah, it's out there. Every parade, I think it's been out, isn't it? It's always rolling.
Yeah.
Seems like it's
Yeah.
it's got to be a maintenance nightmare. It's old as the hills. What is it, like a 1949, Debbie?
Is that the one that's down in, yeah, there's
Yep.
only a handful of people that can drive it, so,
Yeah, your dad's one of them.
yes.
Yeah. So, but that will be in the parade this year.
I would hope so. I haven't heard, though.
Oh, okay. Well, show up on Saturday and
find
see
out.
for yourselves.
And we
Yeah.
play South Fulton. I looked
We
it
do.
up. South Fulton, yeah.
All right. South Fulton, Seagraves.
I said something.
What more can you want except for good weather?
Good luck.
Any more business to come before the board this evening?
I move to adjourn.
Have a motion from trustee Gett,
Second.
second from trustee Harn. All those in favor of adjourning the meeting at this time, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say no. Thank you, the ayes have it. Meeting is now adjourned, and we thank everyone for attending.